Hey guys, this is Danny Boy. General rule of this sort of game, save early and save often, and save in multiple slots. Don't just use the quick save throughout the entire game, because you never know how you're going to screw yourself over. So I'm in a new level. The scenery has changed slightly. We're getting a lot more vines and roots and stuff on the walls. I'm hoping that that will continue, hoping that will... Just the deeper you go, it'll change, at least to an extent, because just looking at the same old dungeon walls for 10 hours gets pretty boring. I have no idea how long this game is actually going to take me to complete. I'm about 2 hours into it, I think. Not at the time of this video, but when I stopped playing, when I had to do other stuff, I was like 2 hours in. And I believe I'm on level 3, maybe 4 or so. So this is an example of circle strafing, just we have a huge room to work with, so there's no reason to really get attacked by these guys. Snail meat for sustenance. And the deeper I go, the more terrified I get, honestly, because I don't know what to expect. I don't know what's coming. Especially now. I still feel really, really weak. I mean, I have a mage who can't really do anything right now. I have basic clothing. I did finally get a spear and shield, so that helps the confidence, but... And that is how these games are supposed to feel. On your first playthrough, you don't know what to expect. You're in a big freaking dungeon, desperately trying to survive. That is the whole point. The atmosphere. I'm also making sure to not only just mark off areas that I've already been with removing torches, but just to also pick them up, because I sure as hell don't want to run out of torches. I assume you'll eventually get a light spell. I heard something horrifying, so I kept that doorway closed, because I think there's going to be something in here. And yes, more vegetable people, plant men, mushroom heads, whatever they are. Nothing really particularly special about these guys beyond just they waddle towards you and they hit pretty hard and they have a lot of health. So they're kind of just an improvement over the snail. They're probably weak to fire as well, I would assume. They are plants. Usually there's like a rock, paper system in these games with spells. Enemies are weak against certain stuff. Now here's a far more interesting type of guy. He's a little dude who dies faster, but like barely faster. I only did 6 damage to him there. I'm gonna get stuck in a corner, and he spits out poison missiles at you, and they hit your whole party as well. I am doing absolutely what you don't want to do, and that is just sitting and letting him spam into me and brutally murder me, and I am going to die. Yeah, well, I'm, for all intents and purposes, dead. I know that I will not be able to continue on with 2 party members that are about dead, so I quick load. Yeah, you need to dodge these guys' projectiles. It's very helpful to lure them into a larger room. What I typically do is just, actually, I think I might run away from him for this first part and just go down a different path. I will kill him. Yeah, I think that is what I do. What I do is I wait for them to get into a hallway, I shoot them, I then move into the next hallway, I shoot them, and I try to lead them into large open rooms like this one, and then just kind of circle strafe them and avoid their attacks by sidestepping. You got to avoid their attacks by sidestepping. Unfortunately, I am allowing myself to move closer to the other plant dude, to the one that spat the poison, and that's going to cost me in the end. It's unfortunate, but these games aren't meant to be incredibly easy. I have been told in reviews that this game is like really, really hard and too hard, and it was docked for being too hard. Maybe it gets really, really, really hard eventually. I don't know, but I'm playing on hard, and I'm not really having a tremendous amount of trouble. I mean, not any more than I would expect. It's going to be challenging, but it's not going to be insurmountable. So I don't know. Maybe it'll get really ridiculous later on. I suppose it's also really easy. It would be a lot harder if you created a really crappy party that you didn't know how to apply your stats and you didn't really apply your stats properly and just gimp yourself that way. That is another part of these games. And yeah, was not expecting this guy to be here, and I'm completely trapped between a snail and this dude, and I am totally screwed, and I realize it, and I quick load again. Rather unfortunate. I now have to kill all those guys all over again. I think I'm going to make sure to kill this guy first now, before opening up that door. Oh, no, I'm just going to seal him off. I'm so smart. I'm such a smarty. Making sure that he can't actually go through that with the portcullis closed. They can't actually open doors. Very important. That is a strategy. I think I'm going to try to actually... I'm not going to succeed, but just to lure one out and then close the portcullis, but I don't think I can. choke points. Again, you know, I can use this door as a choke point to only face one, but then again, it requires me to actually be next to an enemy and constantly take damage, which you don't want to do. You want to kite, so depends on how sturdy your front line is, really. That is an issue I'm having as well, just I don't have enough dex on my melee guys because I emphasize strength and vit. Really want to have, at least for your DPS melee, to have a just even amount of strength and dex so that they can actually hit reliably. I didn't know. Fortunately, I gave my rogue a good amount of strength as well, because I just noticed that it seems like dex doesn't give them any attack power, so if you want your ranged weapons to actually do anything, you need to have strength. Just hitting over and over again isn't going to be enough if you're only doing 3 damage a hit or something. So many snails! Snails aren't a big deal. I am once again getting trapped in a corner though. But, there we go, see? Just gotta wait for them to maneuver. And then we just work around them. There we go. Oh, and my first level, Frog Face and Lizard Dan. You see what I did there, Lizard Dan? Have leveled. It does seem to be based around your... I don't know if it's the class or just how much damage you do and how many guys you kill with the class. But my melee always leveled up first, then my rogue, and then finally my mage. So I assume it's just based around how many kills they get. They get a bonus or something. I mean, it could just be that fighters take less experience and then rogues and then mages. Baldur's Gate 2 was like that. And Baldur's Gate 1 for that matter. I don't know. That would have been helpful. Did not realize there was a throwing knife there. You want to pick up stones. Stones are very valuable this time in the game. Any ranged weapon really, really helps. Plus, you can eventually use stones for slings. So, they never stop being useful. Until you don't want to use slings anymore for whatever reason. I assume that bows and crossbows are better than slings and stones. Though a good slinger could frickin'... Back in the day, back in antiquity, a good slinger could put a rock between your eyes and it was essentially a bullet. How quickly they could propel them. I'm looking for a secret passage because I went in here and I didn't really find much. Kinda disappointed. Considering how many guys were in here. Still experienced though. So I'm now leveling up my guys. My tank is going to have an emphasis on athletics and armor, and then finally swords, whereas my other dude is going to have an emphasis on maces, and then kind of an even spread between athletics and armor, but more points in his mace skill first. Whereas a tank, I really wanted him to be meteor. But then again, they're both front line, so they really probably should just both be tanks, really. I mean, they're both going to get attacked about evenly, and I did have trouble with my other melee dude just constantly taking a lot of damage, and... I mean, you can't really determine your formation here. It's just you have 2 guys in the front row, 2 guys in the back row. So, your front row may as well both be really meaty. Alright, let me just skip through this. I'm reading all the bonuses I get right now. Okay, here we go. I'm now going to try to conquer the poison-spitting dude, and I feel like I will be capable now. I can hear him. That level will certainly help. There he is. And I know, yes, I need to not get hit by that projectile, if at all possible. And you see what I'm doing? I'm waiting for him to approach. As soon as I see him, I throw a stone, or another throwing weapon, and then I back into the next hallway. I wait to see him again, I throw a stone, and I sidestep. But once I run out of rocks, I'm going to start just jousting with them. Very important to avoid his attacks. Does a lot of damage. And he does it to everybody in the party. So I'm now picking up my rocks. I feel like I could probably... I don't know how much health he has at this point. I've never actually killed one before. There we go. Done and done. I feel like he should have been worth more than 65 experience, though. Progression! Yay! Alright guys, you know, I think I'm going to actually just call it here. So thanks for watching. Stay tuned for more. Please like the video if you enjoyed it. Sub if you want to see more Legends of Grimrock. Leave comments and feedback. Ask questions, I'll get back to you. And have a good one.